welcome to the New Brunswick Public School Reorganization meeting. I'd like to start with the roll call. Mr. Genero.
Sorry. Let's just read the opening announcement.
I'll read it. Adequate public notice of this meeting was provided by the Secretary of the Board on February 10, 2023 to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, and the Clerk of the City of New Brunswick. The time and location of this meeting and all meetings of this body are posted in City Hall, 78 Byron Street, New Brunswick. Roll call, Mr. General.
Mr. Adorno. Here. Mrs. Medina Hernandez.
Here.
Mr. Ortiz.
Here.
Mrs. Seawood.
Here.
Mrs. Solis.
Here.
Mr. Spencer. Here. Ms. Varela. Ms. Sevilla.
Here.
Dr. Caldwell.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Wonderful. The flag salute. Please rise for the flag salute. Dr. Johnson. George. Flag salute.
Ready, salute. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, do I have a motion to appoint Richard D. Janero, Business Administrator Board Secretary, as temporary chairperson of the reorganization meeting? Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Janero.
Mr. Adorno.
Yes.
Mrs. Medina Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Mr. Spencer.
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla.
Yes.
Dr. Caldwell.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Turn the meeting over to Dr. Janero, Reverend, Mr. Janero. Reverend.
Thank you. I will read the official election results for the April 25th, 2023 annual school election. The three members that are now voted to be members of the Board of Education: Dale G. Caldwell, 345 votes; Emma L. Seawood, 348 votes; Patricia Varela, 367 votes. And the budget passed 460 yes answers to 105 no. So those three members are voted in again for the New Brunswick Board of Education school board members for a 3-year term, and the 2023-2024 budget has been approved. The oath of office for the board members was performed before the board meeting, so we can now move on to the election of the board president. Being that, I would look for that. Does anybody have a motion to appoint anybody the board president?
I would like to nominate Jennifer Sevilla as board president.
I'll second.
Okay, is there any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote for Ms. Jennifer Sevilla to be the school board president for the 23-24 school year. Mr. Adorno.
Yes.
Mrs. Medina Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Mr. Spencer.
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla.
Yes.
She wasn't expecting to vote.
Hesitation.
Surprised her there. Dr. Caldwell.
Yes, yes.
Motion approved. Congratulations.
Wish her luck.
Good evening, everyone. My heart is pounding right now. Just want to thank everyone, all my board members. They're sitting here, some who have seen me grow up in here in New Brunswick. Getting choked up now. I think that I grew up in New Brunswick, came back, I migrated as a child here to America, right? Oh, we have people So when I think about some of the policies and the work that you do, I think that often we tell the kids, you're going to be the next leader, right? And so I think that's an example. And please don't post pictures of me being emotional. And so when I think about the work that you do every day, I feel that and think that this is an example of that. When we stand in front of the kids and say, you will be the next leaders, or the people that look like you, that know your community, that know the issues of the community, and can have solutions that serve your community. So I thank everyone, and let's get to work.
All right.
So can I have a motion for the election of vice president?
I nominate Ivan Adorno as the vice president.
I second.
Thank you. Is there any other nominations?
Any other nominations?
Okay, seeing none, I'll then take a roll call. Mr. Adorno?
Yes.
Mrs. Medina Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood?
Yes.
Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla?
Yes.
Dr. Caldwell?
Yes.
Motion approved. Congratulations, Mr. Adorno.
Can I have a motion for the election of the representation to the Representative Assembly of the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey?
I'd like to nominate Dr. Dale Caldwell.
Is there any other nominations? Okay, seeing none, we'll take a roll call for Dr. Caldwell to be the representative of the ESC of NJ. Mr. Adorno?
Yes.
Mrs. Medina Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz? Mrs. Seawood?
Yes.
Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla?
Yes.
Dr. Caldwell?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
all.
Moving to number 8, public comments. Do we have anyone that signed up, Mr. General?
We did not have anybody who registered their intent to speak beforehand. I did see that Mr. Cradwell, you raised your hand. Are you requesting to speak?
If possible?
That's a yes or no, Mr.
Yes,
Carter?
yes, if you'll let me.
You may speak, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, Board. Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick. I'm the editor of New Brunswick Today, of course, and I'm first going to start out by congratulating you, Madam President, and the new Vice President of the Board, and wish you all the best. I did want to follow up on an issue I had raised about a year ago now, the cohort of students that never got the chance to get swimming lessons at the Wellness Center pool, and I did see an agenda item earlier this year to provide some folks with that opportunity. I wanted to ask, what the timeline is for that, and if you had folks sign up, or how you selected people to participate, whether there was interest in it.
We're going to let Mrs. Hill answer that question, but I also believe that we have addressed that in a couple of meetings as well.
Good evening. We currently are going to be providing those students with an opportunity to engage in summer swimming lessons. In July and August, I believe it's going to be open to 200 students on a first-come, first-served basis. So it'll be a group of 7th graders who didn't get to finish in the year of the pandemic, 6th graders, and then 5th graders.
Okay, so up to 200 students will get the opportunity, and it's a situation where they have to opt in.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
I think I understand it's first come, first served, so they have to apply.
So a letter's going out to all the families for students in those grade levels, and then parents who register their children on a first come, first served, the 200 slots will be filled.
Okay, thank you. The other issue I wanted to address is another one I brought up here. Is David Holmes was a teacher here. He is currently incarcerated at the Middlesex County Jail for crimes that he perpetrated. And I wanted to ask the board to reconsider your decision not to address this matter. I understand when you have personnel issues, you're generally not supposed to speak about them. But when you have a situation where someone is no longer on the staff because of a crime that involved or touched upon their position with the district, that it would be wise for the board to speak up and speak out and condemn misconduct and tell us what you're doing to prevent it from happening again. So just respectfully would ask you to address the situation with David Holmes, who, to my understanding, was suspended with pay for 120 days and then suspended without pay for some time and has now resigned and gone to jail.
That's a personnel issue, Mr. Carterville. If Mr. Hendricks
We're not
has
going to
any
speak to
comments on
that,
that?
but once he was charged, he was suspended without pay. And he stayed suspended without pay until he resigned, so that was it.
Okay, well, for the record, I was told 120 days, he was paid for the first 120 days
No.
of the suspension.
No,
So what Mr. Janaro told me is not correct.
no,
Mr. Janaro is wrong.
without pay. Once he was charged, we suspended him without pay. We immediately suspended him when there was a suspicion. That's our protocol. And then once he was charged, he was suspended without pay. And he stayed in that status for a long period of time while the criminal justice system worked its way, and then he resigned.
Okay.
That's all we can comment, Mr. Rattle. You sort of know that, but I'll tell you again.
All right, well, I will look into it more and follow up. Thank you, Madam President. Good luck to you.
Can I please have a motion for items, for motions 10 to 56?
Second.
Mr. Adorno?
Yes.
Mrs. Medina Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood?
Yes.
Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer? Ms. Varela? Ms. Sevilla?
Yes.
Dr. Caldwell?
Yes.
Motion approved.
I had mine.
Can I also have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
Mr. Adorno?
Yes.
Mrs. Medina Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz? Mrs. Seawood?
Yes.
Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer? Ms. Varela? Ms. Sevilla?
Yes.
Dr. Caldwell?
Yes.
We are
We are
adjourned.
adjourned.